Hi, my name is Marshall Russell, and I'll be discussing environmental ethics, global climate change today. Climate change has become a hot topic across the globe. Climate change and global warming are used interchangeably many times, but they are different. Global warming is specifically talking about the average surface and atmospheric temperature increasing, where climate change is a change to climatic factors such as an increase in natural disasters, changes to precipitation patterns, and changes to global temperatures. Global warming is not just a theory, but rather a fact. Climate change has been happening, and the average global temperatures have been increasing over the past 100 years. This has been getting incrementally worse, with the 10 warmest years happening since 1998. Park et al. Studied summers in the Northern Hemisphere and found a significant lengthening of the summer season with the advance of summer onset and the delay of summer withdrawal across the entire Northern Hemisphere. The reason for this change in temperature and climate change is due to the greenhouse effect. The graphic on the slide shows how the greenhouse effect is supposed to work and how it works with increased carbon dioxide. The greenhouse effect is a natural process that warms the Earth's surface, but due to an increase in carbon dioxide emissions, the ozone layer is trapping more heat into the Earth's atmosphere. Other gases that will affect the greenhouse effect include methane, water vapor, chlorofluorocarbons, and nitrous oxide. So what or who is causing climate change? In 1978, there were satellite instruments developed to measure the energy output from the sun, and over time, they actually showed a drop in energy given off by the sun, thus ruling out the sun as the cause of global warming. Currently, humans are considered a major factor in climate change. Carbon dioxide emissions created from many human activities that include driving, burning coal, etc., increase the greenhouse effect. The increase of methane production from agriculture and deforestation also have a significant increase in the greenhouse effect. Now that humans are determined to be a major cause, how do they slow climate change? It starts out at the base level with education. Hessness et al. Discusses the need to emphasize the need for better development of climate education with focus on quality standards that are aligned with curricular resources to support climate change instruction, especially those that integrate technology. They also stress the need to have regional observations-focused learning that are personally relevant to learners. The education will set a foundation for everything else. This education will then lead to other actions such as climate change policies by governments, creating more clean energy technology, and lead to a decrease in deforestation. These changes will create a significant reduction in carbon in the atmosphere, helping slow climate change. Environmental ethics are an important aspect of global climate change. Currently, the United States has an anthropocentric approach towards climate change and is very individualistic. Humans are considered to have intrinsic value, with nature only having instrumental value equal to the benefit that is provided to humans. This is even shown in many laws and policies that are created. From 1969 to 1980, there was a period of significant environmental regulation, innovation, and policy, introducing laws such as the Water Pollution Control Act, the Clean Air Act, the National Environmental Policy Act, and many more. These laws did a great job of protecting the environment, but they protected the things that had significant instrumental value to humans, such as air and water. This period of creating environmental policies did not last long, as there has only been a few areas of innovation since the late 1980s. A breakthrough in global effort for environmental policy came in 2015 with the Paris Agreement. The United States opted into the agreement in 2015, but then withdrew in 2017 because President Trump stated it would have hamstrung our economy, showing that nature did not have intrinsic value, but rather instrumental value. Anthropocentrism is not the best approach to climate change. The best approach is the land ethic as presented by Aldo Leopold. The land ethic is a biocentric view that states nature as a whole has intrinsic value, and the individual within nature has instrumental value. The instrumental value is based upon the contribution to the community as a whole. The land ethic is the perfect middle ground that will still allow humans to continue to prosper and develop while protecting nature. Americans will struggle accepting ethics such as deep ecology due to the drastic life changes and will be likely to reject it. The land ethic will be much more likely to be adopted and would be instrumental in combating climate change. Deforestation would end, and humans would have an urgency to attain clean technology as well. Within these environmental ethic approaches, there is a discussion about who or what has standing. Within the current anthropocentric approach, only humans have standing. There are currently no rights or moral standing afforded to any non-humans, with few exceptions such as endangered species. Due to the fact that most of these ecosystems do not have rights, deforestation will continue, and the only attempts to better the environment will be for betterment of humans. This will continue the trend of climate change worsening. In the land ethic, there is a significant increase to the beings that have moral standing. The land environment as a whole has moral standing. Humans and non-humans also have moral standing. The abiotic environment is also included in having standing. This would have a great impact on climate change, as humans would be required to monitor their emissions and limit how much is needed rather than producing excess. The land ethic would also prevent humans from mass deforestation due to moral standing that forests have. Finally, what considerations are required for society to address climate change? The most important factor is determining what will motivate people in society to take action on climate change. It starts as individual actions first in order to make change throughout society. Research done by Halpern and Walton discovered that communicating the local impacts of climate change better affect behavior changes of people. It also led to more support for policy-level adaptation in the local areas. The audience for climate change communication needs to be segmented and delivered differently to different areas. The perception of risk is also very important when discussing climate change. The perception of the hazard is influential in determining how people choose to mitigate the risk of the hazard. Currently, the root cause of an increase in natural hazards, climate change, is not incorporated into disaster planning of governments. Climate change is not considered as a high risk, meaning there is little to no risk management. If climate change was considered to be a high risk, there would be more policies created to manage climate change and a better preparedness for climate change and the efforts. Another important consideration for society are determining what has the most significant effects on greenhouse effect. The top 3 sources of greenhouse gas emissions in the United States are transportation, electricity production, and industry. Transportation in the United States accounts for over 28% of emissions and is the leading emissions, with electricity production and industry coming in second and third respectively. Knowing the largest sources of greenhouse gases will help prioritize the focus on policy and technology research. Climate change is a major issue, and environmental ethics play an important role in determining the future of climate change. Here are my references. And in conclusion, that's my brief.